Hey guys and girls, I'm just gonna hit record. I ain't warmed up. I don't even play hardly anymore. Lot to talk about with this guitar. So bear with me on that. Capo 2. Miss. Um, this is my 1994 100-year anniversary advanced jumbo. And guys, this is a guitar I never thought I would sell. And I'm hoping someone else will do what I did 20 years ago and take a chance on it, because who's ever played an AJ? I sure hadn't. I haven't seen one since, other than they're being reissued now. But if I had listened to this 10 years ago, I'd have the only one on there. Miss. This is a great Gibson. The only one I've ever had better. You can look back in my feedback. Years ago, I sold a 1950 Southern Jumbo that I would consider as good as a Gibson gets, as far as I know. You know, I'm not a pro, but I've heard a lot of guitars in 49 years of playing. Lots to talk about here. Long scale, so kind of like a rosewood hummingbird. Oh, what are we saying? Brazilian. I've had guys try to tell me not, but that's because they want to lowball me or offer me. I think even the sides, which I used to think were East Indian, as I look closer at the grain and the spots that you won't be able to see it on the camera, I think the whole thing is Brazilian. The top, I don't know if it's Sitka or Adirondack, but I will say it's very tightly grained. It sounds incredible. Here's the deal with this guitar. I bought it 20 years ago, sight unseen, because I love Gibsons, and I love mahogany Gibsons. But I always wanted something a little more, or a little, just a little darker. And so I took a chance on this one, and I knew the minute I strung it up and tuned it up that the tone was a dream. This is a great sounding. I gotta warm up. I haven't even played. Okay, long scale. Here's another cool thing nobody talks about with these. The butt of this guitar is 4.5. Most dreads, Martin and Gibson and Martin, are 5. I've had a J50 that was over 5. It was a killer, but it was huge. And it was just like, oh my God, how do I get around it? This is almost, we're only a 1/4 inch off from OM size with this particular AJ. I don't know what the new ones are like, blah, 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 etc. But it is markedly more comfortable for your right hand, your right arm. And that's another reason I love this guitar, and I think it's so unique, or why it sounds the way it does, etc. It took me years, but the look of it, I thought parallelogram Gibsons were the prettiest guitars in the whole wide world. I now love just how balanced and vintage this guitar looks. I love the inlays and how they're just, everything is symmetrical and beautiful on this beauty. 30 years of seasoning now, 1994. Okay, what else? I'll get to the bad parts. This ain't a bad part, but I want to complete transparency, guys. I've been burned on buying guitars on way back when, eBay and even Reverb once. And I refuse to do that to anybody else. I mean, my gosh, you're buying the coolest thing ever, and to have it arrive and it needs, it needs a reset, or it's this or it's that, it breaks your heart, right? And then it's just a headache. This guitar has had 2 surface cracks here since the day I bought it. Scared me half to death. They do not go through the body. You can't find them inside. I've had my luthiers look at them every time I take it in. It's just, nature of Brazilian for one, but they're not all the way through. Okay, so no worry. There's no structural issues with this guitar. It's been refretted. They're in great shape. It used to have a pick up in it. That's in the case. It's an LR Baggs Anthem. So this pin is covering a larger hole that accommodated the Baggs receiver there. What else? You play the damn thing? What do you mean? No, I want to tell you about it. There's stuff to tell you, because here's the part. Is everybody sitting down? Because here's the part where people go screaming at their computers, at their phones, or running out of the room. The neck. Guys, when I bought this guitar, and like I said, I tuned it up, and I said, oh my God, what a tone. What a freaking tone. And as I played it, I hated the neck on it. I hated it. I'm sure they called it a V. It was a skinny little V on supposedly a 1930 reissue vintage guitar. It actually hurt. I would get pain where that edge was. There was no shoulder. It was just, I called it a triangle neck, not a V, because it was that sharp. But I didn't want to give up on the guitar. I loved it. So I would pull it out and I'd say, oh my God, 15 minutes into it, this guitar just starts to bloom. And you think, oh my God, I never want to, why don't I play this guitar every day? Well, because I hated the neck. Okay, so here's the scary part. Guys, I finally, a few years ago, you see all that crazy, this is 4 pieces of hard maple and 4 pieces of mahogany. We have a nice woodworking shop here in Boise, and I stripped the back of the neck down to the wood. It was all painted black, like here and here. And I glued strips of wood onto this, because I wanted to keep this guitar for the rest of my life. And I didn't care. I wanted to love this guitar. Now I do. Now the neck is wonderful. I had an old Yamaha, an FG300, that I loved the neck on. So what I did, guys, was I modeled these little stencils. I got one 1st fret, 5th fret, and 12th fret here. And I made these, that's the 5th. I made these stencils to model the neck after. And so, I glued them on there with wonderful, I got lots of help at the wood shop, epoxied this T88 wonderful glue, glued the strips on, filed and sanded for days, just tweaking and made it very similar to that Yamaha neck. So it's got a nice rounded, it's a full size. It's not big. It's just kind of a nice full size rounded neck. So that's very scary to you guys. I'll tell you what, I believe in what I did. It feels wonderful. It's not perfect. If you search for a little irregularity along this one seam of the pieces, you can feel, but I mean, you got to feel for it. You got to feel for it. And they're quite smooth. The term, I didn't finish it perfectly. I didn't even, but it's very smooth terminations at the ends. I call this like Grandpa's cabin guitar. That was what came to me the other day when I was playing it. I said, this is a player's grade guitar that if your grandpa, you went up to his cabin in the woods, he had it in there. I mean, I'm just making up this story, but this is the best, just find of a guitar. It's like David Rawlings finding his guitar out in the barn of his buddies, and that's what I like in this guitar too. There's tons of it's beginning to finish crack as Gibsons do. There's a spot inside where the battery mount was mounted, so you can see you could get it off, but you could see there's a square patch in there where the battery was mounted. What else? Oh, and what I was going to get to about the neck. 5 years from now, if the neck falls apart, which it won't, I'll give you your money back. I'll give you your money back. I stand by what I sell. I have perfect feedback for 25 years on eBay and lots on Reverb. I will not burn somebody on a guitar. I'll give you your money back on this guitar minus shipping. So it's gonna. I use this thing called Ship Nerd now. So it'll be about $100 to ship it. So you're risking $200 if you buy this guitar and don't like it. But I could do "Don't Call Me." I should be kidding. I should be playing, guys. I know. Sound samples, I know. But I hardly even play anymore. And I don't know how this is coming through on my little mic. I call it little Apogee mic. This guitar is deep. It's rich. It's balanced. It's gorgeous. I love reading the reviews on Reverb. You mean the greatest flat top ever made? One guy. That's kind of another thing. If you're looking for a D28, this is not it. This is a Gibson through and through. I was scared to death a Rosewood was not going to sound like a Gibson because, again, I love Gibsons. This guitar is it's Gibson through and through. It's I'm going to capo way up and do. Long video, I know, but I don't care because there's a lot to talk about on this thing with the neck thing, and barely have calluses, guys. You're going to get way better tone than I am. I've only played nylon string for the last year and a half almost. I don't know how that's even coming across out here, but I'm in my little studio room and it... my ear, it's just a beautiful sounding guitar. Money back minus the shipping. Money back if the neck falls apart. Check my feedback. I'm selling because I'm working on my house. I'm selling because I'm no longer, all I do is I do my little... I do my little songwriter things. I ain't playing out anymore. I'm way into my 60s. I'm not going to play a great big. It's not even great big. I'm not going to play a Dread anymore, and I'm going to keep one or two inexpensive guitars. And this guitar, I'm going to say another thing. With the long scale and just the way it performs, you can drive this thing as hard as you want, and you're not going to overdrive it. This guitar, I think, should, if you're a player, a picker, you'll love this guitar. If you're just like me, kind of a softy and playing, little folky softy tunes, you don't need this guitar. Get yourself I don't know what, but a smaller bodied. This is a big badass. I mean, it's as pretty as can be, but it's also just a tiger of a guitar. So ask me questions. I can make a better sound clip. I'd actually play for 5 minutes and get warm, because again, this guitar, when you play it for 15-20 minutes, it everything just settles and it just blooms. And the same thing that 50 Southern Jumbo used to do. And maybe I got used, got warm and got to playing, but it all comes together after about 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it's just like, oh my God, why would I ever not play this guitar? Okay, cut. Best guitar a lot of us have never played, because I don't know how many of us have ever played an advanced jumbo, but I think it's Gibson's secret, best kept secret, along with that little working man 00 I have, a little El Cheapo that I'm not going to sell because it's a beater and it's not worth much. Hook me up. Less money, well, you know the story, guys. You're welcome to find it on Boise, Idaho Marketplace, because I've got it listed on there. But with the fees and blah, 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 and shipping, and so I'm asking good money for it, but it might be the one for you. Okay, thanks. Bye.